Hi everybody, my name is Owens, I've met you all before. What I wanted to do with my little block of time is talk to you about a possible research topic for a thesis or for a master's paper or a capstone project of some sort. So what I'm kind of batting around in my head right now is an idea for a thesis where you compare two market-based interventions in the traffic and transportation planning sector. These two market-based interventions are called congestion pricing and market-priced parking. So as a transportation planner, I'm interested in all different kinds of transportation issues, but one of the biggest issues in the transportation planning sector is auto-oriented transportation planning systems. So as we can see with this image right here, this is a perfect example of congestion. This is an image off of the Beltway up in Northern Virginia. The biggest problem with the Beltway itself and with congestion in general is that if you have too many people taking one particular mode of transportation at any given point in time, the infrastructure will reach a capacity point where if you go any further than the set point in which the infrastructure has a capacity to take on more cars, it becomes less and less efficient for you to take that mode of transportation. So you have to start looking for alternatives. So in some of the bigger cities around the country and across the world, transportation planners have been looking at various ways to intervene in this market and address these problems. And so I'm going to talk about two of them. The first one is congestion pricing, and the second one is market price parking, as I said. So here's an image of the central part of London. And what London has done is implemented a congestion charge for commuters. So what this essentially means is that as a commuter goes into central London at different points in the day, they will be charged a fee to use the roads going into the central city. So the greater the demand for the road, the greater price for entering the city. So more cars on the road, you'll be able to charge more. It's called a congestion charge. So it's essentially, if you get into this very central city, by the way. If you get into this area right here, it's usually anywhere between £10 during peak hours, and it goes down to about £4 if it's during non-peak hours. Okay. The other one that I want to talk about is market price parking. And so this is a similar sort of market solution, wherein if there's a glut of parking or an absence of parking within a central city, you can implement a system whereby you price your public parking spaces according to demand as well. So the greater the demand for parking spaces, the greater the price will be for parking in a specific spot. San Francisco has kind of taken the lead on this, and for 1 hour of parking in central the Russian Hill area, you can get up to $12 an hour to park at very peak hours. It's not usually that expensive, but it can get up to that high. So I'm still batting around the idea in my head as to how to address these two particular market interventions and kind of drum up a question about them for the thesis or for the master's paper. But I had three sorts of ideas that I'm batting around primarily. The first are, what are the environmental impacts? So what would be a good indicator to judge the environmental success or failure of these interventions? So I was thinking maybe vehicle miles traveled. How do either of these reduce vehicle miles traveled? The second one is economic viability. So which of these two interventions most adequately gives the governments that implement them the resources they need to sustain these programs? And the third one is social equity. So at some point, these interventions are going to price certain people in society out of their systems. So eventually somebody's not going to be able to either drive or park at specific times. And what are the social implications of those policy decisions? So I'm still kind of batting around all three of those ideas. I'm not quite sure which one I want to do. But thank you for just hearing me out on these.